Dave knows how.
Okie dokie. I tried to make a video showing doing the preliminary wiring on these relays, and unfortunately the lighting was so bad that it just did not. I don't think it's going to be salvageable. I'm going to look back over it and see if it is, but I don't think it's going to be salvageable. So we're going to kind of go over what we did in another video where I show you which wires that we hook all together preliminary wise, and now we're going to look at how we hook this bank of relays up to the tractor. So starting up here, we got relay 1, 2, 3, and 4. This wire right here goes up to the front of the tractor to a toggle switch that will turn this completely off, so that if you push the buttons on the joystick, it won't do anything. Okay? And that wire comes down and it wires in through this fused connection. It goes straight to the battery. It's got an inline fuse. I've got this fuse set at about 5 amps. So the hot wire comes down, feeds into one of these wires, goes up to that switch, and when you turn it on, it comes back down the white wire that's within this same set of wires, and that white wire is connected to this green wire in this set of wires, and this set of wires goes up to the joystick control where we put our cue ball with the 2 switches. So we push one button on the joystick, it sends power down this white wire into this relay, and then this relay turns on number 3 relay, and that sends power out of this blue wire and back up this black wire that's within this group of wires, and that goes to one side of that solenoid valve that controls the flow of the hydraulic fluid. The green wire coming out of here is hooked to the ground because it needs a ground, so we've got it connected right here to a green ground, comes down underneath this ground screw, which is bonded additionally to the battery ground. If we push the other button on the joystick, it engages relay number 2, and that will in turn turn on relay number 4, which will send power out this blue wire, and instead of it going up this black wire, it'll go up this white wire, and it'll energize the other side of that solenoid valve to open and send fluid in the other direction down to whatever we have on the front of the tractor, whether that be a 4-in-1 bucket or grapple or what have you. So that's kind of how this thing hooks up once we get it out here. Now we're going to get some cable ties, and we're going to cable tie all this up real nice, and we may put some shrink wrap over some areas, like right here. We're going to bring this piece of shrink wrap down over top of this connection, shrink it down on there so that can't short out. Got another one over here on this hot wire that's feeding the other part of that circuit, because this fused connection at 5 amps feeds a switch, and it provides power for the what I would consider the low amperage control circuit that turns these relays on. This other feed right here that has its own fuse, and it's rated at 30 amps, it feeds these 2 bottom relays, which sends power from this feed to the solenoid valve. That's why we've got a larger fuse in here to handle the load of that solenoid valve. Probably don't need 30 amps, probably get away with 10 amps, but I didn't see any rating on there. Of course, I haven't really looked that closely. So we may find out after I look into it a little bit closer that we can get away with a 10 amp fuse, and that's what we need, and we'll certainly change that out to a 10 amp fuse. These came stock with 30 amp fusing. This one right here I changed to a 5 because that's all. I know we don't need more than a 5 amp fuse to run these 4 relays. Anyway, I hope that's a little bit clearer than mud, but I think if you go back and look at the video on the wiring schematic, you may have to view it a couple of times. You can get the idea of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how all 4 of these relays come into play. And that's it for now. It's looking good.
Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.